Did you know the top three Google Maps listings get over 68% of all calls and clicks from people searching for a chiropractor on Google? When people look for a chiropractor, they go online, mainly to Google Maps or Google Search. Even if your website's number one, Google Business profiles appear above it, meaning new patients may be going elsewhere. The good news? Google Maps rankings follow a formula. And if you want to know what actually works to rank higher and attract quality patients in 2026, you're going to get a lot out of today's webinar. Even if you've never done anything to improve your Google Maps ranking, that doesn't mean it's too late to start pulling in patients from there. Sure, if you'd started working on this several years ago, you'd be farther along, but you can also look back in a year from now and be happy with the results from finally doing something about it. Today, I'm going to give you everything you need to make that happen. Or maybe you've tried to improve your ranking, but whatever was being done wasn't working. I'll also go over common mistakes and show you how to get more of the patients that are searching online. What you're looking at here is the big picture of all the strategies you need to have in place for the complete digital dominance method. I covered some of these in depth in the previous webinar, but today we're going to go deep on the one that, when done right, can bring in more motivated patients that are looking for a chiropractor. I'm talking about Google Maps, which has the most exposure and can generate the most calls and appointments for you. Think of this as like a wheel or a tire. If you have most, but maybe not all of these in place, then it's like racing the Indy 500 with a flat tire. These categories are pretty much in order of importance too. The big three that will really move the needle are making sure your website's built to convert, your practice shows up in the top 3 maps listings when a person Googles for a chiropractor, and using social media to establish yourself as the local health authority. And having a content strategy, automation, and follow-up aren't any less important. They're more like a foundation that connects to each and every one of the other pieces, so those are going to amplify the results of everything else you do. All right, let's talk more about Google Maps. Today, what we're going to cover is what Google looks at to determine the maps ranking for each business, so you can apply what you learned today to improve your ranking or know how to evaluate your team or vendor and their ability to do this for you. I'll pull back the curtains on our proven model so you can improve your own maps ranking. I'm going to shatter the big myth that some companies tell about how to get into the top spot. And I'll also tell you what are the best tools to systematize and automate some of the heavy lifting around all this. I'm even going to share some of the tactics that we've kept secret just for our clients in the past. And I'll also cover some common mistakes I've observed over the years. So if you watch until the end and take notes on all of these, you're going to have a leg up on all your competitors out there. So you're going to want to make sure to put down your phone, close anything else on your computer, because as usual, today there's no fluff, no pitches, and because time is our most scarce resource, I'm going to move through these pretty quickly so you're informed and able to get more patients from Google searches in as little time as possible. And real quick, I just want to let you know a couple things about me that really sets me apart from everyone else in this space. I've been doing digital marketing for more than 20 years. I founded my own marketing agency. For several years, I was brought in by billion-dollar brands around the world to coach them on their innovation practices, including getting the right product market fit, and then add millions and millions of dollars to their bottom line. And I switched from helping all kinds of businesses to marketing for chiropractors in February of 2017, starting with my own chiropractor. And now we work exclusively with chiropractic offices across the US and Canada. Okay, enough about me. You might be wondering, can Google Maps really generate new patients for your office? And of course, that's why you're here, right? As a person buys products and services, including healthcare, they go through different phases before they make their purchase decision. The very first phase on the buyer or patient journey, sometimes referred to as the top of the funnel, is awareness. This is where your potential patient first becomes aware of you or your treatment options. They may not be actively looking to get your help yet, but you want to make them aware of your existence and pique their interest. Once potential patients are aware of you, or chiropractic or decompression, they're considering whether chiropractic or your office are the right solution for their needs. They're researching, they're comparing different options. During this middle of funnel phase, you need to provide them with valuable information that positions your services as the best choice. And as Google's search algorithm evolves, that content actually helps you rank better and get found by more people. The consideration and intent stages are where people are actively looking for a solution. You want to be seen when a person's actively looking for help, right? Well, Google gets the majority of online searches, and they inserted the top 3 maps results into everyone's overall search results. And then there's the searches that are done from inside of maps or GPS on your phone, which only show businesses from maps. The main way of getting new patients to call you or visit your website is when they're actively searching for a chiropractor. Everyone always asks me about running Google ads to get in front of new patients. After all, that's what shows up at the top of all search results. The caution I always give is that PPC or Google ads can do that, but the strategy only gets 14% of the clicks from those searches. Whereas local SEO, which is, getting ranked as one of the 3 businesses in the Google Maps section, that gets the lion's share with 68% of the clicks from those same searches. So even though Maps or local SEO is going to get the most website traffic and phone calls, you still need to have a solid website because Google changed to a blended algorithm, meaning they evaluate your website content and your Google business profile to determine where you should rank on Maps. And I want to take a quick moment to show you how your Maps ranking is not what you think it is. Ranking on Google Maps is highly dependent on the specific location of the office and where a person searches from, which you can see on the right side of your screen. This is a snapshot of the Maps ranking for a single office in Michigan in half-mile increments. Right in the center is their office, and they're number 1 in Google Maps at that spot. And within a half mile in any direction, they're appearing in the 3-pack that gets 68% of the search traffic. But any further out, and they slip to number 4, number 7, number 19, and then the red X's mean they're ranked 21 or worse. And we call that the pizza effect because when you look for a pizza place, all you care about is, do they have pizza? Are they any good? And are they nearby? On Maps, it comes down to 3 factors: authority, proximity, and relevance. And you can improve your rankings for a bigger area without actually moving, which we're going to cover in a moment. Now, like Tony Robbins says, knowledge is potential power. So before I tell you all the things to do to get your office ranked higher, I want to share the underlying principles so you can clearly see why the tactics I go over will work for you. Remember the pizza effect I just mentioned? Whenever you or anyone else searches for something local, Google looks at 3 categories of information: the authority of the business, the relevance to the search term or phrase, and how close the businesses are to the spot the person is searching from. Authority is ascertained from things like the depth of the content on your website. So think of like Wikipedia instead of a brief sales brochure, and how often you are referenced across the internet and linked to from other websites. Your ratings and reviews also play a factor, not just the ones from Google, but from all the other review and especially health websites such as ZocDoc and RateMDs. Relevance means how closely related are your business listing and website to each search term. Chiropractor near me is the biggest search term to solve for, but there are hundreds of other search terms such as, sciatica treatment, car accident chiropractor, spinal decompression near me, and so on. And your website content can be structured in such a way that all of it builds on top of each other and even strengthens your relevance for the other search phrases by increasing your topical authority. And the thing to know about proximity is that you can improve your ranking across more of your geographic area without actually having to move or change your address. And now Google is applying a certain X factor, which is the amount of activity and engagement with the business profile. Any clinic or any business that isn't ranking at the top of Google Maps can be traced to one or more of 6 factors. Improper or incomplete setup of their Google business listing, and I'll show you how to address that. Not many references to your business, or fewer than your competitors, which lowers your authority, at least comparatively speaking. Or the references that do exist do not exactly match your name, address, or phone number listed on your Google business profile. And if your website simply doesn't have enough content around chiropractic or various conditions that chiropractic helps with, which can be solved by applying a strong content strategy built around topical authority, or lack of activity and engagement on your Google business listing, that precious X factor that Google's looking for. And it could even be the Highlander protocol. So if you're not old enough to remember the Highlander movies or TV series, the driving theme was that there were immortals that would kill each other in pursuit of being the final immortal standing. But the way this relates to ranking in Google Maps is Google only wants to display one listing of any specific category of a business at a single address. So any two of the same type of business in the same shopping center or business suites, basically anytime it's the same address, but maybe a different suite number, then Google suppresses one and shows the other. Effectively, there can only be one. And I've seen some offices struggle to get shown on Google Maps because they open their office at the same address that already had another chiropractor. So anyone who's going to open up a practice or move locations, always consider if another chiropractor is already in that location, because you'll always be swimming uphill both ways without a paddle and wondering why you're not getting as many patients from Google as you'd like. At a high level, the formula for getting your Google business listing ranked in the top 3 spots is, first off, to have your Google business profile be claimed, set up properly, and fully optimized, and having regular activity on it. Make sure you have a lot of quality citations across the internet, and get lots of reviews on Google and other chiropractic directories, and proper websites on-page SEO optimization. Your website has a direct effect on your Google's listings ranking, so it's critical that it's set up so the website ranks organically and it's structured and optimized for the Google Maps business listing to rank too. Okay, let's go over the first part of the formula, setting up your Google business profile right. First, verify your business. Hopefully, this is already done. Your business name needs to be the actual name of the practice. Google started cracking down on keyword stuffed names, so nowadays they typically want a video or to see your signage and possibly even business documents. So make sure you don't add things like back pain or accident chiropractor if they're not actually in your real business name. Now, you probably don't want to change your name simply to rank better, but if you were looking at opening your own practice or even renaming it, then incorporating chiropractic into your name will help. You get more business by appearing more often by people looking for chiropractic care in your city. Sometimes offices will have an 800 number for whatever reason, but that can create a couple issues. First, the goal is to rank locally, and having a local phone number tells Google you are local. Second, when people see that, they'll question if the call is going to get answered out of the area or maybe the call center. Just add your local number. Make sure your address is right and the PIN shows in the correct spot. I've seen numerous offices have the right address, but the map PIN is wrong. We had to fix this for multiple clients, and one had Google Maps giving people driving directions to essentially a dead end, not very close to their office. So make a note of how Google spells and abbreviates your street address and your suite number. Document it exactly as Google has it. So when you do list your address on your website and everywhere else online, you'll type it exactly as Google has it. And this just increases the certainty that Google has when it finds references about your office. It's like when all the stars are aligned and in your favor. And add your website URL or make sure it's correct. Here's a pro tip. Add extra tracking info to the end of the URL. This helps identify sources of website traffic in Google Analytics and Google Search Console so you can know which visitors are coming from your Google business listing versus your website's organic listing down below. And add your hours of operation. That helps people know and expect if you'll answer or when you'll open your doors. That goes for both existing patients and new patients. Plus, your Maps ranking now changes based on whether you're open or closed at the moment a person searches. You rank higher during your open hours than your closed days and times. That may be a little unexpected, but it makes sense, doesn't it? Google's trying to provide the most relevant answers for searchers. And in Maps, that typically means practices that are open at the time a person's searching for a chiropractor. And answer your phone during lunch. Some offices close for hours. If you and your team can't answer, then forward your calls to an answering service. By the way, if you struggle with making sure new patient calls are getting answered or followed up with, I know of a great team who can handle this for you. Just reach out or message me and I'll share their information. And make sure your primary category is for the thing you care most about. For chiropractic offices, the highest volume of search phrases that are relevant for you are going to have chiropractor, such as chiropractor near me. If you put something like medical center, then you won't rank well at all for people searching for a chiropractor. So you have your main category, but you can add more categories for services that you may offer, such as massage therapy and physical therapy. Categories are a much stronger ranking factor than just listing them as services. Make sure to enter something into the business description. Make it user-friendly, but I've seen many offices not use keywords or search terms that people use when doing a Google search. Use every character available and incorporate relevant keywords. Categories are preset, so any services you offer that weren't available as a category, then you will want to go ahead and add them to the services section, such as spinal decompression. And upload photos, as many as possible. Use real photos, not stock photos. Pictures of yourself, the owner. Pictures of your staff. Pictures of the office, your entrance from outside. Signage, front desk, equipment, your logo. People connect and resonate with people, so leverage that in your Maps listing as much as possible. And there's a field for opening date. Enter it. You want to fill out as much information that Google makes available to you. That means all the attributes that apply and are available in the more from this business section, such as wheelchair access, restroom, etc., as well as filling out the insurance plans accepted. Now that you know the X factor affects your ranking, you want to take actions that benefit you instead of letting your competitors reap the awards. Instruct your team and marketing partners to help as much as possible with the following activities. You want to be uploading photos regularly. And ask your patients to snap photos and do the same, or if it's okay for your staff to take a photo or a video of you with them. Post to your Google profile at least once a week. It's been shown that 3 times or more per week can really help your Maps ranking. Remember the X factor? So the more often, the better. Watch for new reviews and respond to them, both good and bad. There's a Q&A section too. Answer questions that pop up. Also, anyone can ask and anyone can answer questions on any business. Consider seeding your own questions and providing long-form answers to increase your relevancy for different search terms. For example, if a person searches for a sciatica treatment, if you have a question and answer about treating sciatica, then that will help you rank better for that term. So keep in mind, you want ongoing activity, not a one-time spike. You want to be like the tortoise rather than the hare. This is how you have the X factor that Google rewards with more patients that are searching for help. One of the things many practice owners don't do enough of is applying actionable insights. What I learned from my time as a business analyst in the corporate world is you need to regularly monitor performance in order to uncover opportunities. I get it. There's so much to do when it comes to running a practice and a business, and many docs are also treating patients most of the time, leaving you little time to do all the things. I'm a big believer in automating and delegating as much as possible so that the important things for your business actually get done while giving you time to be with your family and enjoy life. I like the old Google Business Manager because you could easily see a breakdown of customer actions, of how many people went to your website, requested directions, and called you. You can still see all that, but each of those categories are shown separately now and have a lot more detail. So is it worth forwarding your phone number? Depends. How many calls are you missing? And when does that tend to happen? Your Google profile performance can give you some insight into that. If people are calling after looking up your name, maybe existing patients or referral, there's a decent chance they'll just call back if they miss you. But if they're calling because they've seen your ads or content online and search for you by name, then maybe they'll wait and call back. Maybe. But if most of the folks are finding you because they're simply looking for a chiropractor, then if you don't answer, they'll just call the next one in the list. So if you're missing calls while the office is closed and no one can answer the call, the smart thing to do would be to hire someone to answer your phone on a call-by-call basis. And in your Google Business profile, you can even add additional numbers for tracking, or in this case, for new patients, so you can make sure that number goes to your service provider that can catch those new patient calls so they don't just call the next office in the list. There's a software out there peddling the idea that creating a wave of reviews is all you need to rank at the top in the 3-pack. Well, you can now say aloha to that misinformation. But how do reviews affect the ranking in Maps? First, reviews are not a magic bullet, but they are a ranking factor. More importantly, this is a conversion factor. When people see your rating and number of reviews, that affects whether they call you or a competitor first. Some will research a little more by reading your reviews, so make sure you do reply to your reviews. You don't have to go overboard. Just say something nice and friendly. Be mindful about HIPAA, and bad reviews also warrant a professional reply. Remember, your response is mainly for potential patients who are checking your reviews before coming in. Don't come off as defensive or unprofessional. Invite the reviewer to contact your office so you can better understand or rectify the situation. Remember, your response is for everyone else, not the actual reviewer. But you do have to address it to the reviewer. You want ongoing activity, not a one-time spike in reviews. Remember, the X factor is all about regular and ongoing activity and engagement. And you want a system, or at least a process, that gets your reviews not just on Google, but other chiropractic and medical review sites. All of those others have a bearing on your ranking as well as conversion rates. The second part to improving your MAPS ranking is to build citations across the internet. And nowadays, quality matters more than quantity. But you still need to have a lot, like in the hundreds, not dozens. This is why we work from a curated list, so we can work on the most effective ones first and not bother with ones that don't really have any effect. So how citations help is they increase your authority, which is one of the 3 big ranking factors. They also need to reference a consistent company name, address, and phone number. If you have various references to your business, but maybe your name changed or you moved, or it's just slightly different from one listing to another, that's going to create confusion about which business is actually being referenced, as far as Google's concerned anyhow. So if you happened to purchase your practice and change the name, or if you move locations, you don't want to just create new citations with a new name or a new location. What you want to do is find those old listings and edit them or have them corrected. What you want is no or limited duplicate or incorrect business information out there on the internet. It's also helpful to know there are some aggregators out there, which means if you get your business listed on those, they'll automatically distribute that information across the other online directories. Not all directory sites, but aggregators will pass your info to a good chunk of them. These are some of the top tools for researching and finding citations. Yext, Bright Local, WhiteSpark, they've been around for a long time. This can be a very tedious task, so why not make it easier on yourself by using tools or service providers? Here at Grow Your Chiropractic, we can handle this for you if you'd like. And best practices for citations are to start with your Google business listing. However your name and address are spelled there is what you should use in your citations. That means if you have an ampersand instead of the word and in your business listing name, then only use that. And the same goes for addresses. If Google abbreviated or didn't your street name, or if you have a suite number, it could have the number sign, it could have the word suite spelled out or possibly abbreviated with STE. And Bright Local or WhiteSpark software will go and find citations for you. This helps you know where you're already listed so you don't spend any time going there. And you can also pull a list of citations of your competitors, starting with the ones that are ranked higher than you, which will give you a list of directories to submit to if you're not already on them. And then use software or a service provider like us to submit your business information and have it automatically distributed. Now, here are the top citation sources specific to chiropractors and health practitioners. There are a ton of general business directories you can add your business to as well, but these help for building both authority and relevancy. These are sorted by the highest domain authority score, and you can see that most have a free option. Real quick about domain authority, this score ranges from 0 to 100, with 100 being the most amount of authority possible. A lot of the score comes from other websites that link to yours. Basically, it's like them vouching for you, so the more authority or trust that they have extends even more to you. And the great thing about these types of directories is that it includes a mention of your brand, which is what a citation is. And almost always a link to your website, which is called a backlink. And on top of it all, these websites are about chiropractors, or at least health. So those links also share that with you, making Google consider your website more relevant for chiropractic, pain, and health-related searches. That's why even the paid listings can be worth acquiring. I mentioned backlinks, but let's go into what you can do for SEO on your own website, which is 100% under your control. One thing is to always keep in mind as you consider adding or updating content on your website is you don't want to only solve for Google and SEO. That can result in content being not helpful and have horrible grammar. I've seen too many websites insert key search phrases that don't make any sense when they're read by a human, and they're obviously meant to manipulate rankings. But you also don't only want your website and pages to rank highly, you also want the people that see them to actually click through and convert into a call or booked appointment. So think about the user experience too. Don't just list all your services on your homepage or services page. Build a separate page out and go deep with the subject matter on each individual service. That's what will help you rank better on Google Maps for people searching for a chiropractor or one of your services. Something I don't see often is a separate page for each condition you can help. This is becoming more and more important as a ranking factor. And something I almost never see in the chiropractic space is a separate page for each city that you serve. You don't have to have an office in each one, but if you're close enough to get interest from that other town or suburb, then having a separate page dedicated to it will help you rank it in maps and when a person searches from that area. Now, if you do this, make sure each of those pages has unique content. Don't simply duplicate another page and change the city name. Google's too smart for that. Go deep, be authoritative. Publishing blog articles regularly and syndicating them across the internet will obviously help your website, but when done strategically, they'll also improve your ranking on Google Maps. And SEO 101 teaches that you want the main keyword for each page to be in the title and H1 heading. And enter a meta description that isn't just stuffed with keywords. This is where the writing actually gets the person to click. Make sure the footer on each of these pages has your name, address, and phone number matching exactly to your Google listing. And make sure the load time of your website page is fast for both desktop and mobile devices. This can help or hurt your rankings. Okay, I'm going to share a couple secret tactics that will help you rank better on Google Maps. Remember how the X factor looks at activity and rewards businesses that have more regular activity? Driving directions is one of those key activities. If you and all of your staff pull you up on Google Maps and tap driving directions before they leave for work, then that's a legitimate way of boosting your Google listing. And chiropractors are fortunate in that Google allows you to not just create a listing for your business, but also for each chiropractor in the office. So even if you're the only one, create an additional Google business profile using your personal name, Dr. John Doe. Common mistakes I see that could be hurting your ranking on maps are an inconsistent name, address, and phone number across the Google listing, websites, citations, directories, and other online references to your practice. Not enough reviews across the internet besides the ones on your GBP. Not responding to reviews. Not responding to questions. Choosing the wrong category. Choosing too many categories. A bad choice of a primary image. Or not selecting any image, and then Google just displays your parking lot as your profile image. Remember, you can't improve what you don't measure. So you always want to be tracking data. Where your Google listing is concerned, you can measure the clicks that come from it by adding what's called a UTM value to the end of the URL. You can also measure how many calls came from your Google listing compared to other sources by using a unique tracking phone number on your Google listing instead of your regular number. Now, if you remember what I said earlier, you want to make sure your name, address, and phone number match across the internet. Don't worry, just add both numbers to your profile, but make the tracking one your main number. So to recap, the proven formula for getting your practice ranked in the top 3 spots in Google Maps are to claim and fully optimize your Google business profile. Make sure you have a lot of quality citations across the internet. Get lots of reviews on Google and other chiropractic directories. And properly optimize your website's on-page SEO. If you only remember one thing, you want regular and ongoing activity and engagement on your Google business profile. And as a foundation, you want to apply our proven formula so all that activity actually works. If you want to talk to me about us helping you with this, or you just want me to pull and send you a scan of where your practice ranks on Google Maps in your area, just scan the QR code you see on the screen. If knowledge was enough, we'd all have six-packs, abs, and dry Aston Martins. Don't stay in learning mode. Put today's information to use. And connect with me and follow us on your favorite channels. If you have any more questions about all this, or if you want a free scan of your Google Maps rankings across your entire area, just reach out to me. @Sebastian Mueller is my personal Instagram, and you can check out our page or channels under Grow Your Chiro Practice. That's all I have for today. I hope you got some actionable items out of today. And if you'd like to talk about us having this or any online marketing for you, we can do that. And if you want me to pull a report of where your practice is ranked on Google Maps from all over your area, just go to growyourchiropractic.com/maps ranking or scan the QR code and set up a time to talk with me personally. I'll be happy to help however I can so you can achieve your goals. Have a great day.